Hey guys, it's Erica from Brains to Beauty and welcome back. This is part 2 of my Target hits and misses. Today I'm going to be talking about the foundations. If you guys missed part 1, make sure to go and check that out. I filmed the part 1 which talked about all of the other products that were not foundation related. But today I'm going to go and compare the 3 foundations that I got during my Target haul. And the reason why I'm doing a separate video for this is because all 3 foundations are amazing. If I needed 3 foundations, I would keep all 3, but I really don't. They are all very unique. They all have different properties and they all serve different purposes. So I wanted to talk about all of them in case some of you guys had different skin or preferred different things, so that you guys can make the decision that you guys want to make on these 3 versus me doing individual videos for each. So at least you guys can see them side by side. First and foremost, I want to go into the foundation that I am wearing today, and it is the foundation that I am going to be keeping of the 3. The other 2 will be returned, and it is the Revlon Nearly Naked Foundation. Of the 3 foundations, this is actually probably the one that I would not or should not have picked because of the fact that I have very, very oily skin. For someone who has oily skin, this is not the foundation for you. However, if you are like me and you have oily skin but you prefer the dewy natural look, then you might actually like this foundation, which I think is really funny because I should not like this foundation. For someone who has oily skin, I should not like it because it is very dewy, and most people with oily skin hate dewy foundations. But I'm picking this one. So let's go into this foundation. What is it that I love about this foundation? First and foremost, this is light to medium coverage, bordering closer to the medium. A lot of people have said it was pretty light, but for one layer, I got way more than light coverage. I got closer to medium than I did light. And then in the trouble spots, like the areas that I get some redness and discoloration, all I had to do was dab a little bit more and put a light second layer in those areas and blend it in. And it was like a perfect medium coverage for me. It was wonderful. I loved it a lot. And like I said, I'm actually wearing it today. Great coverage. I love this medium coverage. It's not too heavy to where you can still see my freckles, and so it still looks very natural, but at the same time it's heavy, or it's medium enough that it covers the redness around my nose and on my cheeks. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful as far as coverage goes. The only downside is, 1, it's not a pump. I love pump foundations, but 2, it is super watery. I'm not going to pour it out because it pours out really fast, but it is very watery. It's actually more liquid and more watery of a foundation than the L'Oreal True Match Lumi. I actually think the Lumi is more luminous than this, but this one, this is more dewy than it is luminous, so it doesn't get as shiny as that other foundation, which is why I like this so much more. If you don't like dewy, then you're not gonna like it because, 1, it takes a while to set, especially if you don't wear a powder. If you don't wear a powder, this is gonna take you at least 5 to 10 minutes for it to really set. Even after like 2 minutes, it still feels really, really wet. Also, a little goes a long way. You really don't need to use a lot. Because of its liquid nature, it spreads really easily, and also because of its medium coverage, you don't need a lot to put on. So I actually use my fingers to put it on, mostly because I have pink eye and I don't want to use a lot of brushes on my face right now. But even with my fingers, I used maybe like half a dollop and I got my entire face, and then I just dabbed a little out of the top to do the troublesome spots, and it took very little to cover my entire face. So watch out when you pour it out because it's gonna pour out really, really fast and you may end up wasting product. I did do an entire day without powder and I did get very shiny within 4 hours. The days that I do wear a powder, I actually don't get shiny until closer to the end of the day. And as far as longevity, this thing lasts all day long. I actually filmed the first impression and I didn't like it, so I ended up scrapping it. And then It's Judy Time did a first impression and her video was so awesome, there was no point in me posting another video. So go check out It's Judy Time because she did a great first impression of this. It is long wearing, it does last all day, and I mean the coverage seriously lasts all day. In my first impression video, I wore it for 12 hours and I had medium coverage all day long. My redness never at any point came out. It was amazing. As far as the other two foundations, the number one reason why I'm not keeping it is because I actually thought I would like matte, considering I am a very oily person, but after wearing a matte foundation, I realized I don't like it because it doesn't look as natural on me. Matte looks great on a lot of people. Some people just naturally look amazing with matte foundation, but for me, matte looked fake. I looked like cake face. Even though it wasn't cake face and it didn't really look like cake face, I felt like I looked like cake face. And it's probably because I'm so used to having my oil being out and about that the days that I don't have oil, it seems unnatural. And so for me, the fact that these are both matte, I actually didn't like them. And it's funny because I love the matte quality of the Revlon Color Stay Whipped, except it's not as mattifying as these guys. These two are both really, really, really matte. So if you want matte, these are your foundations, and they're great foundations, but they're definitely matte. So let's go into these two. I want to go into the Revlon Color Stay first because it is just like the Revlon Color Stay Whipped. The difference is that the texture is of course different. This is a liquid foundation while the Whipped is a whipped cream foundation, so that is a little bit more thick, but this dries faster. So I feel like with the Whipped, I can blend it in and I have time, but for some reason this foundation dried out pretty fast, and so you really have to work with it really quickly to blend it in before it dries on, and then you kind of get like some cakey spots, not cakey spots. It's really weird. And one layer is medium, straight up medium. You don't need 2 layers if you want medium. If you need heavy coverage, then 2 layers will be good, but it does start getting cakey if you start going into a second layer. And the other difference between this and the Color Stay Whipped is, like I said earlier, this is very, very matte. The Revlon Color Stay Whipped is also matte, but it's not as matte. Like, you still can get a little bit of a natural glow, while this one will completely remove all signs of oil and all signs of shininess. So anything that would be considered luminous or dewy, this removes that completely 100%. So if you want matte, this is your guy. And if you love the Color Stay Whipped and you want even more matte, then this is your guy. As far as this foundation, I should probably prefer this because of my oily face, but it's so close to the Whipped that I would rather just keep the Whipped versus having 2 of essentially the same foundation. And so I'm going to keep my Whipped and I'm going to go ahead and return this. As far as texture goes, it is definitely thicker than the Nearly Naked, but it's not as thick as the Whipped Color Stay. Okay, last but not least is the CoverGirl 3-in-1 Outlast Stay Fabulous Foundation. This is also a wonderful foundation if you are looking for matte foundation. However, between the two, this is even more matte. And I don't think you can be more matte than this, but by more matte, I mean cakey. I hate to say it, but if you put more than 1 layer, you are automatically going to have cake face. It is just that mattifying. Like this one, you run the risk of cake face. This one, you will get cake face with 2 layers. Also, this kind of oxidizes a little bit. When you first put it on, it seems fine, but after about 30 minutes to an hour, the color will slightly shift to a little bit darker. And so you want to make sure to buy this in a shade lighter than what you think is your shade, because this matched me when I first put it on, and then as the day went on, the color had changed and I was super disappointed in this. Now, the reason why I think this is a bit more popular than this right now is because this is amazing at oil control. This lasted all day, just like the Color Stay Whipped and just like the Nearly Naked. Both of the Revlon foundations are long wearing. They will last you all freaking day long. Coverage will be there all day. But you will start seeing signs of oiliness towards the end of the day, and I mean like 10 hours later. This, you'll see signs of oiliness after 4 or 5 hours, but if you wear powder, you won't see it until, 8 to 10 hours. This, never at any point did I see oil at all. It is amazing at oil control. So if you're really oily, this is your foundation. And this is probably good for me, but I just don't like matte, like I said earlier. The really big downside to this is it does not last all day. This faded within 4 hours. I could already see redness around my nose, and this does have medium coverage just like the Color Stay. One coat is medium coverage, and so you definitely want to use this if you only need it for a short time and you really need some oil control. But otherwise, this was my least favorite of the three, and it will be going back. However, as far as all of these foundations, they're all really good foundations. If you're looking for something in particular, definitely check out one of these three. If you're looking for dewy, light to medium coverage, this is it. This is very long wearing. If you are looking for mattifying, either of these will be fine. If you need more oil control, definitely go with this guy. If you want more long wearing and not so much oil control, then definitely go with the Revlon Color Stay. And of course, I love my Color Stay Whipped. I would have gotten another Color Stay Whipped, but I really wanted to try out these new foundations. And like I said, I am keeping the Revlon Nearly Naked. Emily Noel, aka Beauty Broadcast, as well as Judy from It's Judy Time. They both did first impressions. I did film a first impression, but It's Judy Time did such a wonderful job. There's no point in me posting a duplicate video, so I will make sure to include her video down below if you guys are interested. But I am definitely in love with it. Like I said, I'm wearing it today. So like, comment, and subscribe if you guys have any questions, if I accidentally left anything out, if you want to suggest any other foundations that I should try out, please make sure to include that in the bottom. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. I just want to say thank you so much for the support in the haul. I wasn't sure if I was going to post it or not because previous haul videos were not that popular when I first started my channel, and I didn't think it was worth it, but it ended up getting a lot of good feedback and views, and thank you so much. That is it. Thank you guys for watching. This is Erica from Brains to Beauty. Hey guys, good morning. It is Erica from Brains to Beauty. Today I'm going to attempt to film for you my hits and misses, and this is going to be part 1. This is actually my 4th attempt at filming this, and all the other times it took me 20